We live in Ireland and we rent out 2 rooms in our house. We live in rural Ireland, so it's just fields around us. The room that was in question is the attic room, and a man texted me through the Airbnb app inquiring about this room. He wanted to book it. I have instant book, which means you can just instantly book the room. You don't have to inquire. Nevertheless, he did inquire about it, and he said, can I check in at 9 a.m. rather than 1 p.m., which is the normal check-in time? So I thought about it. I said, sure. He also asked if he could check out at 10 in the evening. So check in at 9 a.m., check out at 10 p.m. He didn't want to use the room. Well, he didn't want to sleep there. And I thought about it, and I said, well, okay, that's fair enough, no problem. Then he said, before I book, can I also have a barbecue? Well, now it was getting a little bit more uncomfortable for myself because I didn't really want people to have a barbecue in my garden. But I thought about it and I said, well, if you clean up after yourself and you bring all the stuff yourself, fine, no problem. He replied and said, well, that's great, thank you. Now, one more thing before I book. Do you also have internet? Now I was getting really suspicious, wanting to check in and stay the whole day, barbecuing, and a good internet connection. I was thinking maybe he wants to stream music or do a live stream. I don't know what he was wanting to do. And so I said to him, you know what, I don't actually think my house or home is the right place for you. Better off probably looking for somewhere else. And he seemed to become panicky. And he said, oh no, the email, I'm just going to check my work emails. That's all. So I said to him, no, I'd rather not host you because I don't think this is the right accommodation, and I don't want to, basically. And so I didn't hear from him for a few hours, and I thought this was finished, And then I get a notification from the app telling me that he had booked the room. Of course, I was upset about that, or a bit frustrated about it, rather. And I said to him, I told you, texted him, I told you I don't want to host you. And he didn't reply to me. So I waited, he didn't reply. And now I'm becoming panicky, of course, because I don't want him here. I get in touch with Airbnb. I don't really know how it works because it never happened to me. I'm also a new host. I basically put it into a few sentences what has happened, and I posted. It ends up in the conversation that I'm having with this man. He reads it and he replies, oh no, you said to me the internet wasn't that great, but I don't need the internet. I really need your place. I really need your place. And I thought to myself, well, that's strange. Why does he need my place? Nevertheless, I cancelled now I'm actually really suspicious. Why does he want to come to my house? Now 3 days later, yesterday, someone books the same room, and he sends me a message and asks me, how far away are you from such and such city near home? And I tell him how far away we are. He said, okay, I'm coming now. An hour later, he said, okay, I'm here now. He wasn't here. There's nowhere to be seen. He said, red car. I said, okay, you're not here. So my husband goes outside and walks down the path that leads up to our house. He walks down to the road, and he can see him 10 meters away from the house in a car. And he waves him over and says, up here, basically. So he drives up the path towards the house. He doesn't greet my husband, he doesn't say hello, he doesn't say thank you, he doesn't say, oh, sorry about that, or whatever, small talk, or acknowledging that he's even there. He just drives up, my husband greets him. He can also see the girlfriend or wife next to the driver, the man, has a little chat with him, and then waits for them to get out of the car, or her to get out of the car, but she doesn't move. And my husband said, well, do you want to come up and I'll show you to the room then, check you in? So she gets out hesitantly out of the car, and they all go up the stairs. They go inside the house and then up the stairs. And my husband told me then that he had the feeling that they didn't really want him there, that he was trying to explain to them the house rules, like don't leave the window open when you leave because it can rain and the cats will come in and so on. And he was just like, yeah, okay, whatever, sort of thing, you know. He was very impatient. So my husband just left and left them to it. And when he came downstairs, I remembered I had only put in one towel. So because my husband does the front of house, now he went upstairs and gave them the second towel. He knocked at the door and they didn't open the door straight away. First, the guy said, oh, yeah, like that, and husband told him, here's your second towel. He said, oh, no, it's fine, we don't need one. But then the woman said, oh, okay, we'll take it. So she opened the door a little bit and grabs the towel and closes the door again. So my husband goes downstairs, do whatever we need to do. 10 minutes later, the couple is leaving. Fine, that's absolutely great. That's what usually happens. People go and after dinner, whatever they need to do, you know, it's none of my business. The strange thing though was that they didn't come back. So come the morning after the checkout, went upstairs, had a look, and the room had been arranged to look like they slept in it or they lived in it. So straight away, I saw that when I came in, I saw that the two towels had been crunched up and one was put onto the bedside cabinet, the other one was on the bed. Obviously, I picked them up and I looked at them and felt them, smelled them. They weren't used. The shower was actually bone dry, and so was the sink, just as I had left it. The bed then also, they had taken the overthrow and they scrunched that up and threw it around the room. I don't know where exactly it was. I think it was on top of the bed. And it was very obvious that they'd laid on top of the bed. But the bed itself was not used. It was still folded the way I had folded it. They opened up the muesli bars that I left there for the guests. They took a bite of it and left it. All the crumbs were there, obviously, you know, make it look like they were really there and they were in the room for a long time. That sort of feel they wanted to, you know, that's what it looked like. The jar with the sugar in it, the lid was taken off and then put back on in a way that it didn't close properly, so you could see that it had been used. Also, the toilet was used, as silly as it sounds, but they threw a lot of toilet paper into the toilet, but there was actually nothing in there other than clean water, if you know what I mean. And like I said, there was no usage of the shower or the sink. So all in all, the room was staged to look like they had been in there the whole night. Now, I sent out a message after the guests leave. It's an automated message that the guest receives a few hours after checkout, just asking them if they could leave some feedback, and we hope they had a great stay and so on. And so that message was sent to that man, and he actually replied to it and he said, yes, thank you, it was perfect. There were two more visitors that came shortly before this happened. They may have something to do with that.